What you're about to watch is the latest world boss event in Diablo 4. Now, previous to this event right here, every world boss that I have fought within the world tier 4 in Diablo has been level 65. I have been anywhere from level 57 to, as you can see now, 67. And the last boss I fought was actually still at level 67 character-wise, and that boss, again, was leveled at 65. So, what does this mean? This means that in the period of 6 hours, Blizzard has buffed the levels of the world bosses by 15 levels. Now that is massive, because not only do the bosses now do more damage, which means there's more risk factor and more enjoyment, but the bosses last longer because the health pool is increased due to the level scaling of the boss, right? That's how the game works. So essentially, the bosses are now harder. They're an actual challenge. There's risk factor. Now, I will mention this. As of late, I've been seeing a lot of talk about how the weekly caches are broken and they aren't resetting. I think they were supposed to reset yesterday. In the past 24 to 48 hours, I have not gotten a cache. I don't think they've reset. I'm not sure if they're bugged. I'm not sure what's going on in regards to that. But to be honest, I absolutely wholeheartly agree with the 15 level increase on the world bosses. They needed this. This was the easiest way for them to do it, in my opinion. I've been saying they need to buff the health and buff the damage. Well, the simplest way to do that is to just scale the level, right? That's a built-in scaler for both damage and health. That's how the game works. So that was their easiest course of action, and it seems that they implemented it pretty well, and off bat it seems to be working perfect and there's no issues. I did die a couple times, but honestly that's because going into this was a surprise. I wasn't expecting to be going against the level 90 Avarice the Gold Cursed, and the damage output that it had, not to mention the health that it had, was again surprising. I'm glad to see that they implemented this change, because going into a world boss that you waited 6 hours for, beating it in about a minute and 30 seconds or less, was really unfulfilling and not rewarding at all, nor was it a challenge or hard in any aspect. So I'm glad to see these changes have been implemented. And honestly, before, the fact that the world boss was one of the easiest bosses in the game and one of the easiest enemies slash content types in the game, it really doesn't make any sense. I'm glad that they made this change, because let's be honest, it's a time-gated event. Not only is it a time-gated event, but it's the longest time-gated event. You have to wait 6 hours in between. And not to mention that the fact that the world bosses are the biggest enemies in the game physically. Therefore, they should be the most challenging, and at the end of the day, the most rewarding. So, let's touch on that a little bit before the video ends here. I do think that outside of the weekly caches, the world bosses really aren't worth it, because the rewards that you get just aren't there. Again, you wait 6 hours to spend what was before a minute and a half beating the world boss to get what, maybe 1 ancestral items, and max you get anywhere from 5 to 10 sacred items. So I think we need to buff either the rarity of said items or the quantity of how many you get after you beat the world boss, so that the world bosses are actually more rewarding outside of when you get your weekly cache, because you won't actually always have your weekly cache. You only get 3 of them every week, 1 for each world boss. And as the game progresses and there's more world bosses, then yeah, you will have more weekly caches. But we're talking about right now. We're talking about what can we do to make the game better right now. Quality of life changes for the future. Well, maybe we can buff these drops a little bit to make it more rewarding outside of the raw materials that you get from doing the boss. And with that being said, well, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up, and if you if you like the content and you want to see more videos like this in the future, go ahead and feel free to subscribe, and peace out.